Hi, Dustin.
How
How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Okay. Everything's been going okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I wanted to bring you in today and talk to you a little bit and see how things have been going. I know we've been talking about stressors at work
Mm-hmm.
and just, your overall self-doubt that you've been dealing with. And last week when we talked about doing the self-advocacy technique. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember what that was about?
Yeah, that's when, I'm at school and I feel stressed out or I don't feel like I'm doing a good job. You recommended me to go find a colleague
Mm-hmm.
or an administrator and like sit down and have a conversation with them and get their feedback. And yeah, I've tried that out a couple
Mm-hmm.
times since we last spoke.
And how was that for you when you've tried that out?
The first time I tried it, I mean, you're nervous because, especially when you talk to your administrator because you're trying to do a good job for them all the time. And you don't want them to see your flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But it did really help after we sat down and talked. And, I just realized that this is just some things teachers go through. And, I had an issue with a kid who was stressing, and come to find out the kids had the same issue with all the other teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't feel like I was in my own little boat anymore.
Yeah.
I got to see that, my problems are shared by the team and not just me personally.
That's good. I know sometimes doing those self-advocacy techniques where you have to go to someone and kind of admit that you're struggling is hard. I've gone through that myself, especially early on in my teaching career, or when I switched from middle school to elementary, things are completely different. And I know one time specifically, I had to sit down with my principal and talk about a specific skill and that I was struggling with and ask for her advice. And she really kind of motivated me to be solution oriented. And the first couple of times that I went through that, just like you, I was super nervous and I kind of felt shame, like I wasn't measuring up to what she expected of me. But like you said, it is something that everybody goes through, and it's part of growing as an educator, learning those mistakes that we made and growing from them. So I'm really glad that you were able to do that, and I hope you keep up that self-advocacy. I know for me, one thing that I really struggle with when I am feeling nervous like that is that I get all of these sort of negative self-talk going in my head where I just tell myself in my head that I'm making mistakes and that if I don't do this correctly, that I'm going to get in trouble or that people are going to judge me. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about self-talk and see where you were at. Do you still have those negative self-talks going on?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but they're getting better because, I talk to I have these feelings, but now that I have an outlet or somebody else that I can go talk to, it doesn't happen as much as what it used to.
Well, I want to practice when it does happen. If you practice something we call P's and Q's. So when you're feeling those negative self-talks coming on, or you're talking to yourself in your head and getting that sort of self-doubt, you want to pause, take a deep breath, and then ask yourself, why am I having this feeling? So if it's maybe you're struggling with a student in the classroom and you're going back and forth with a student, they're not complying with what you want, you pause, ask yourself, why am I feeling like I'm not measuring up as a teacher right now? And then we kind of shift our thinking into, this is okay, everybody struggles with this, what can I do differently with this student, or who can I reach out to help this student? Or maybe it's, how do I talk to this student himself and figure that out? So do you remember the P's and Q's? What does P stand for?
I pause, and then I ask the question.
Take a deep breath first.
Take a deep breath.
And then ask yourself, why am I feeling this type of way?
All right.
So
you pause. So the situation I pause in, I take a deep breath, and then I ask myself, why am I feeling this way in this situation?
Yeah. So I think combining that self-talk technique with the self-advocacy technique will be great for you moving forward. So I want you to practice those P's and Q's. But I also think that it's important that you still step out and ask for help, ask for advice, whether it be from an administrator or a coworker or even a former coworker that you still get in contact with. I think that's important for you to help build up your self-confidence even more.
Okay, I'll try to do that. So it's pause, and then I take a deep breath.
Yep.
And then I ask myself, why is this happening?
Or why am I feeling the way I'm feeling?
And then after that, if I can't figure it out, go talk to a colleague.
Yeah, ask for some advice, or even just sort of reframing your thinking a little bit. If you can get to the root of why I'm feeling some type of way in this moment, then we can work on, how do I stop that or how do I like intercept that trigger that's causing those feelings to happen?
Okay, well, that sounds great.
Great. Okay. Well, I hope you have a good time with that, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.